So the Trump regime is planning on releasing a version of the Epstein list that has the names of every Republican redacted and will purposefully leave in the names of every liberal, every Democrat, people like Bill Clinton. They may even add in names of people who have never been on the list. And this isn't my opinion. This is coming from a secret video recorded with the DOJ deputy chief. Admitting this because he got secretly recorded on a Hinge date. Women, you have so much power, and this is how you fucking use it. So this bald fascist loser with his fuck ass earring and fuck ass goatee, or I guess that's a beard. He's so desperate for pussy because he's probably divorced because his wife met somebody who could actually make her come and then left his pathetic fucking ass. This guy got a Hinge match and he's so desperate for pussy. He's such a fucking desperate, fat, bald loser that he starts spilling the beans, going, oh yeah, no, I know everything about the Jeffrey Epstein case. Yeah, no, they're just going to redact. It's an 8-minute long video. And he just spills all the beans because he's that fucking desperate for pussy. Let it be known that all of these men on the right, these fascist dog vermin who are so hateful towards women, they fucking hate women. They are also the most submissive, pathetic, worm-like dogs that will do anything they have to do just to get a taste of some fucking pussy. And that is what you're about to watch. Now, thank God for this woman. I don't know who this woman is, but thank you for going undercover. Thank you for wearing a hidden camera. Thank you for putting yourself through the trauma of having to pretend to be attracted to this fucking subhuman vermin dog man, just for the sake of getting him on camera admitting this shit. Mind you, as we're speaking right now, the House Republicans are being whipped by Donald Trump to not release the Epstein files. Only 2 of them have said that they want the Epstein files released versus 180 Democrats. That's the case we're in. So again, real quick, if you are still a MAGA supporter, you defend pedophiles, you're a pathetic piece of shit. Hi, I'm Chris Valenti. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. If you do want to support this channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can click the thanks button down below to donate to the channel. You could buy merch like the Democratic Socialist poster down below. You can use the 40% off discount code for Ground News down below. I have to burp. That was a tiny burp. Fuck you. You can become a member here on YouTube for $5, and you can become a patron on Patreon for $5. Remember, this is real independent media. I have no funding. So every dollar goes to funding this operation. Thank you very much for 87,000 subs. We're inching closer and closer to 100K. I love you all. But without further ado, let's dive right in. Breaking. Department of Justice Deputy Chief admits government will, quote, redact every Republican while leaving all the liberal Democratic people on the Epstein list. Says also that Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a lower security prison, quote, as a benefit to keep her mouth shut. She got transferred to a minimum security prison. It's against BOP policy, but because she's a convicted sex offender. So just real quick, is this going to be the whole thing? No, it's all right. So one thing that I want to tell you is I told you this would happen. I told you that they were going to feel the pressure so much that they're going to release a fake version of the Epstein list. So without further ado, let's start watching this.
But those files do exist.
Hold on. I have to change the audio here. That is my fault. Audio, headphones. All right, we're good.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
They're offering her something to keep her mouth shut. And what they're offering her is a presidential pardon. That's what they're offering her. Now, real quick, if you have a daughter or a sister, I want you to understand that if somebody in our government raped your daughter or your sister, your local Republican elected official would run defense for the rapist, and they are currently doing so. Facts don't care about your fucking feelings. Stay triggered, cope, mauled, fucking seethe all you want. You, MAGA voter, are on the side of pedophiles. You fucking dog.
Acting Deputy Chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt.
Big shout out to O'Keefe Media Group for this whole thing. This fucking guy's name is Joseph Schnitt.
Telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work again?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
Recently,
This guy is so desperate for pussy. What, did the divorce really hurt you that bad? I don't know the first thing about this man, but I am also willing to bet money. Please leave it down in the comments below if you can find out that that is a divorced man. I'm willing to bet $50 that that is a divorced man.
the FBI and DOJ have come under fire for promising transparency, then refusing to release footage and unredacted documents, going directly against the public's expectations and the promises made by Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. In a DOJ press release, Attorney General Pam Bondi stated, quote, "This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators."
I have a theory, which is that people like Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel genuinely did not believe Trump was in the Epstein files. And then they got access to the Epstein files and went, oh, fuck. This guy's dead ass on every single fucking page. I work for a pedophile. And I think they're coming to that conclusion. I do think the Epstein saga is going to come to a close relatively soon, but not the close that you think. We're never going to see the actual full list released by the government. We're going to see two different lists. One revealed by the government that is complete bullshit. It has the names of every Republican redacted, and it reveals the names of liberals. Which, honestly, I don't give a fuck what your political affiliation is. Go to jail. And then the second thing that's going to happen is the women who were raped and abused by these men are going to release their own list. That's going to have Donald Trump's name on it, Bill Clinton. That's going to have the real fucking kickers. And MAGA and their inferior vermin subhuman followers will run offense on those women. They'll say, you're all lying, fucking paid off pieces of shit whores. That's what they're going to do. Because, as we know, MAGA voters hate women. And if you're a woman who voted for Donald Trump, you're a pathetic whore. You're pathetic. You are a chicken for KFC. You voted to dismantle your own rights. You fucking pathetic whore.
Quote, and also claimed they were shedding light on Epstein's extensive network, only to later claim that Epstein was acting alone, and that the only video evidence they had was of Epstein's personal child porn collection.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were.
In the same press release, Kash Patel claimed, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned.
Really, that's interesting because I remember looking at the pictures from inside of Jeffrey Epstein's New York dungeon, and there's cameras in every single room that were constantly recording every single conversation. Let me just say this. If you believe that Epstein raped thousands of women and ran like a sex trafficking ring, which he did, If you believe that whole thing was only run by him and Ghislaine and that nobody else was involved, shut the fuck up forever, never speak again. Your opinion is worthless and you are a dumb motherfucker. I mean that. If you think, oh no, it's just Jeffrey and Ghislaine, nobody else had anything to do with it, we don't need to see those files, you're a husk. You're not a human. Stop pretending like you're one of us.
So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever.
Only to later claim on Joe Rogan's podcast that releasing any videos would re-victimize those impacted.
We're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine.
But, internally, there's a lot of, even within the administration, there's internal conflict.
Oh, okay.
Like, the head of FBI really wants it. Second in command at FBI has been, causing problems because he's like, no, these have to be released.
Yeah. So the FBI wants them out.
Yep, the top two guys there do.
And Bonnie does it.
I don't know what Bonnie wants. Bonnie wants whatever Trump wants.
Sure.
Dude, they know it within the regime. This is a guy from the inside. Yeah, no, Pam Bondi's just a fucking dumb whore who says yes to everything that Trump says. And she is. She is. Pam Bondi, if you're watching this, or any member of Pam Bondi's family, Pam is a disgusting, worthless slut who is willing to say and do anything that King Daddy Führer Trump tells her to do because she's a submissive piece of shit. That's it. And again, friendly reminder to you who voted for Donald Trump, you're not equal. You're inferior, and you should be treated as such.
Why is there suddenly this internal conflict within the same administration that aggressively campaigns?
And real quick, I know that a lot of people are like, Chris, you're so divisive. You're so divisive. It's not left versus right, it's up versus down. Oh, okay. Well, then tell that to the boot-licking chuds who are quite literally praising the Nazi Gestapo thugs who are rounding up migrants and sending them to concentration camps. How about you tell that to the boot-licking fucking cucks who are celebrating a snuff film of a missile hitting an innocent boat of fucking Venezuelan migrants with no proof that it's a fucking drug boat. And even if it was a drug boat, you can't just bomb them. Why don't you tell that to the people who are cheering at the idea of dismantling democracy and creating tech feudalism and praising the idea of a third term for King Doland? It is left versus right because it's up versus down. And the right praises the up. The right bootlicks the billionaires. The right believes that they're going to become billionaires. Why? Because Republican voters are the least educated people in the United States of America. That's not opinionated. Facts don't care about your feelings, you fucking redneck incel worm. You can look this up. Red states, lower education levels. That's reality. Deal with it, dumb fuck.
In 2024 to fully release the Epstein files to the American public. What new revelations did the DOJ and FBI make to now say that an incriminating client list does not exist? DOJ analyst Joseph Schnitt comments on these inconsistencies and informs our undercover journalist that even if anything was to be released, it would be heavily redacted in favor of the Republican Party, indicating that this DOJ official, Joseph Schnitt, probably leans Democrat.
Do you think the stuff with Epstein will actually get released or not at all?
If it does, it'll be heavily redacted and his name won't be in it.
But those files do exist.
There's files,
Yeah.
for sure. There's, thousands and thousands of pages of files. But again, if they're released in any way, it's going to be very redacted. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out where it's like, look at what's going on without releasing any of their bad behavior.
This is James O'Keefe. You know me for exposing the truth and holding the powerful accountable. But
What the fuck? First of all, nobody knows who you are. I like your video, but this was a very weird transition. This is a very weird drip, and I don't think anybody knows who James O'Keefe is.
today, I want to talk to you about protecting your own freedom.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You're about to give me a fucking ad, you worthless rat man.
Freedom isn't given, it's secured. This is James O'Keefe. Don't just watch history, own a piece of it.
Is this a shill for gold?
The conversation then turned towards Ghislaine Maxwell and her highly publicized and unprecedented prison transfer.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender, and they're not supposed to get minimum security prisons, which is interesting.
By the way, if you're curious if this is credible, the DOJ has already come out and confirmed that this is real.
Detail, because she's getting a benefit, which means they're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
The difference between a low security prison and a minimum security prison is that minimum security prisons are designed for non-violent offenders with short sentences. They often have no perimeter fencing, and inmates are housed in dormitory-style rooms. We looked into the Bureau of Prisons policies, and Schnitt's claim is in fact correct. Convicted sex offenders are historically ineligible for minimum security facilities. Schnitt is also very credible by virtue of where he works inside the Department of Justice. This raises significant questions about why Ghislaine Maxwell was provided such special treatment.
No, it doesn't raise questions, it raises answers. The reason why she's being given special treatment is because of a quid pro quo, where she said she will not implicate Trump in absolutely anything. In fact, she will run defense for him. She already did. The interview was released. She said, no, Donald Trump never did anything inappropriate fucking ever. That's what that is. If you can't see that, you're a fucking idiot.
A time where the DOJ and the FBI are under heavy scrutiny for their handling of the Epstein files. The DOJ and FBI have continually promised transparency to the country. Why was the case's most significant witness transferred to a more comfortable prison life, all while Epstein's victims were still not receiving the justice they deserve? Why does it take a random girl in Washington, D.C. for someone like Joseph Schnitt to open up? Why are top DOJ...
Because that random girl could have potentially given him pussy. That's it. The only reason he was willing to say that was for pussy. I fucking hate men. The patriarchy is so fucking disgusting. I swear to God, that man would have kept his fucking mouth shut forever if there was no chance of him getting laid. That is the only reason he disobeyed the Führer.
officials spilling all these secrets in restaurants, while the American people are not necessarily afforded the same transparency that they're promised. It doesn't make any sense. What we're looking for is people on the inside of the government to step forward for your private actions to match your public actions, to stand by the truth. And if you know more about this, please email us at tips@o'keefemediagroup.com or text us at 914-491-9395 and we...
914? That's my fucking area code. Why is everyone in this area so based? I swear to God, it's like me, this guy, Kyle Kalinske. Fucking everybody in this area code is designed to tear down the government.
Will tell your story without fear and without favor.
Anyway, so that was some great reporting. That was some incredible reporting. DOJ response to me just now. Joseph Schnitt had no role in the department's internal review of Epstein materials. He has confirmed as much to leadership, and we plan to publish his written statements to that effect when we have it. In his own words, the comments Mr. Schnitt made were based on, quote, what he learned in the media, quote, and he has, quote, had no knowledge of the circumstances surrounding Miss Maxwell and then was reporting the news. Bullshit. Bullshit. Clever migrant wears the Epstein files to hide from the Trump administration. I like that. All right, listen. I'm not live right now. As you know, I have some shit to do. I might go live later. We don't know. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And do me one last favor. Click that video over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers.